Hello and welcome back to Sonia's personal space. We're on episode 8 وكملوا سوالفي. ما أعرف شو أقول this week, but I did write a lot of notes. So maybe this podcast is going to be fun. Maybe this podcast is going to be boring. We'll see. Wait till the end. And if you stay till the end, subscribe, put a comment with a thumbs up down below and tell me you watched it till the end. I want to talk about how much you guys are so kind to my mom. Like, I love this space. I love this podcast because the fact that you guys love the people in my personal life, it makes me so happy because I wanted to do this podcast for a reason. I wanted to share my life. I wanted to share my mom, and the fact that you guys love my mom makes me cry because I love my mom. You know, ولاحظت شيء فيني when I have people on, I realize I'm much more comfortable in front of the camera. I don't know, I'm comfortable in the camera no matter what, but لأن I have someone with me, the conversation just flows. When I'm alone, I feel like my thoughts are very like they don't make sense, and that's why I really want to have more guests in this podcast. I'm dying for Chindi to come on the podcast, but يستحي, so I'm just gonna respect that, but he's gonna eventually come. Trust me, I'm begging him, and he is gonna come on this podcast. But if you guys have any recommendations of who you want on the podcast or someone you follow that you want me to interview, please let me know because I just want to keep this going. وكملوا سوالفي. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, my Halloween costume. I killed it this Halloween because I need you to understand the thought process of how I got to the idea of Pitbull. أول شيء, the past 2 years, because of COVID, because of whatever, I haven't done anything for Halloween. That was so university Sonia. This year I was I really want to dress up. I really want to do something funny. أول شيء, I was going to be King Kylie. I was going to get the teal wig. I was going to overline my lips. If you know the King Kylie era, you know exactly how I was going to look like. And then لاحظت, that's so much effort and I don't have any plans. What was I going to do? Just stay at home as a King Kylie outfit. And then I thought, you know what? I want to be Nicki Minaj. I want to get the light pastel lips, the wig, the outfit, and be Nicki Minaj. And then I realized I don't have any plans. So what's the point of putting all that effort in? بعدين, I was talking to Chindi. I was like, what are you going to be? He's like, I don't know. We need to think of something. Let's do a couple's costume. So I was like, maybe Ice Spice and he's Central C. And then I thought of the best idea for Chindi. If you live in Dubai, you know about the insurance guy. The insurance guy is the scariest thing that Dubai has ever come up with. A few months ago, there was a huge storm in Dubai. I got stuck on a flight. There was everyone had an issue with that phone. And there were a lot of flooding areas. A lot of people had a lot of issues with their cars, with their house flooding. It was a big thing. As soon as the storm was cleared, the insurance guy appeared. Guys, this guy was everywhere. Every billboard in Dubai had his face. He looks so scary. His glasses are like this, and there's no reflection in his glasses. He looks like a human, but he doesn't look like a human. He's the scariest guy. ولأنه he was in every corner, it became a joke on the internet. The amount of WhatsApp stickers of him shirtless and taking a bubble bath and doing this, he became a meme. I'm just going to show you a TikTok for you to understand how scary the insurance guy is.
Release me! Release me!
And now you get what I mean. So I was telling Chindi, please be the insurance guy. I'll get him skinny jeans, glasses, whatever. And he was like, I already look like him. And I realized I'm married to the insurance guy. And then he was like, maybe I should be Pitbull. I was like, no, I should be Pitbull. And then he was like, we should be Pitbull. I was like, yes. All I needed for this costume was a bald cap. I already have the suit. I already have the white shirt. Khalas, that's all we need. And then I need your advice on this one, guys, because Chindi thought of an idea and I thought it was so not funny. He was like, you dress up as Pitbull the singer, and he's gonna dress up as Pitbull a dog, okay? Like a whole costume of him looking like a dog. And then we can do the idea of like, oh, he didn't get the memo. You know what I mean? And I was Pitbull and he was a dog. I told him that's the least funniest joke I've ever heard. So now you guys know where the humor is in the relationship. Me. And then Halloween came up, and then Shindy was busy at work. My friends were sick, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be Pitbull at home. Literally, all I did was get ready, make a bunch of TikToks, and remove that bald cap and took a shower. Like, I did nothing on Halloween. Best, I just wanted to be Pitbull so bad. And if I can be Pitbull every day, I would be Pitbull every day. I want to be Heidi Klum al-Arab. Like, did you see her Halloween costumes every year? Like, they go crazy. Hiii and her husband, and I want to be that. The next year, me and Shindy are going to have a good couple's costume, I'm sure. Other than Halloween, I'm struggling to come up with a conversation in this podcast. You know what? Let me talk about my wifey era, or like my preparation for my wedding. I still don't have a wedding dress, and I still didn't try on a wedding dress. And I know it's so soon. My party's in January. I still didn't try on a wedding dress, and I'm struggling. And I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm putting it off. Because ever since I was a kid, I was like, I don't have to lose weight now. I can lose weight for my wedding. Like, when my wedding happens, that's when I'm gonna be skinny. When I have my wedding, I'm gonna be this. When I have my wedding is in 2 months. And now that my wedding is coming up, I'm like, I'm not even close to being where I want to be. And I'm trying not to freak out, but I feel like because I'm self-sabotaging, that's a form of freaking out. And you know me, leaving things to last minute, blah, blah, blah. We've already been through this before. So now I've just been trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. I know it's my wedding, ولأن I put so much pressure on what this day should be in my head. Doesn't mean it's not going to be perfect. Like, if I'm not the perfect weight or the perfect look or the perfect dress, it's still going to be the best day ever, because the point of a wedding is that you're celebrating it with the people that you love, and you're celebrating a marriage. Why take away the idea of, oh, this has to be perfect, I have to look perfect? Like, no, relax. I'm just giving myself these thoughts, and everything's going to be okay, because nothing is that serious. But I'm trying to do this like journey of understanding where these ideas come from. Why do I self-sabotage? Why do I have these insecurities? ولاحظت that the root of my insecurities have always come from the fact that someone has said something to me, or someone has compared me to someone. Because when I was a kid, I was such a confident kid. My parents gave me such freedom to be myself. And I remembered the first comment that I've ever got that was negative about the way I look, and how it's really affected me now, and how I still carry those wounds now. When I was 9 years old, كنت أول واحدة أبلغ في صفي. I was taller and I was bigger. يعني I was always a skinny kid, and then مرة واحدة I started to gain weight. Also adding to the fact that أبوي توفى 2 years before ما أبلغ. So I was going through a lot. Like, I was gaining weight, my body was different, and I looked different than the rest of my class. I looked even different compared to my sister. Like, I was like, in a year I grew so much. Like, me and my sister were always like similar to height, like هي أصغر مني بسنتين, and then all of a sudden I became like a giant compared to her. All the pictures of that time period are so insane because I look like a giant. I look like I can eat my sister. Like, it was so bad. But anyway, I looked different than the people in my class, and I was in 4th grade وقاعدة أمشي, and I was just playing. I was 9 years old. Like, I'm just playing with my friends. And I see my 1st grade teacher, مدرسة العربي. She's just in the corner. And I went and I'm like, hi معلمة, whatever. Like, أسولف وياها وطلعتني قالت لي سونيا ما عرفتش وايد متنتي. And I was like, صدق? And she was like, ضخمة صرتي. Like, the way my heart dropped, and I was like, شنو يعني ضخمة؟ شنو يعني متينة? And I started to develop these ideas of who I am, and I realized when people see me, they have ideas of how I look. Well, that developed my first body insecurity scar. بعدين, I started to get more hairy as I am hitting puberty, and people are starting to comment on my look, and they're like, شكلك ريال, شكلك whatever. Well, this scar started getting bigger. وأتذكر I would have family gatherings I would hear family members go to my mom and be like, oh متنت وايد Sonia, like ليش ما تودينها هني, ليش ما تودينها هني. And guys, if I look back at pictures, I was not a fat kid. I just hit puberty earlier than the rest. But it's because they were using language like متنتي, صوتي ضخمة, شكلك تغير. I was like, what does that even mean? As a kid who's already going through personal life changes and like personal body changes, it really built such a huge scar for me. I started to build more and more insecurities. I was never an insecure kid, so I started to hide. I started to wear loose clothes and I don't want people to comment on things. And I'm in a school with guys who are mean and they comment things. But as I became a teenager, I wanted validation from these guys. وأذكر قصة وتعرف من أنت. This guy, okay, we were friends. So ذكر مرة I was like eating Oreos and like walking into class. ومرة واحدة ياخذ الأوريوز من يدي وطالعة ويقول لي ما تحتاجين. And then he pokes my stomach. If I show you a picture of how I looked like in high school, you'll realize I was so skinny. I was the skinniest I've ever been. But these comments really got to me and I was like, oh, I'm big. Well, that was kind of the dynamic that we had within our friend group, like commenting on looks, commenting on whatever. And it just became the humor between us. And نعيب على شكل بعض. And then when I got to uni, it was my first time as an independent person. Like, I choose what I eat. And I started to eat more. And going from like skinny in high school to like getting the freshman 15. تعرفون شنو freshman 15? I didn't know what it was, by the way. Freshman means أول سنة جامعة, and 15 means the 15 pounds that you're gonna gain in the first year of university. I didn't know what it was, by the way. لين متنت, everyone was saying freshman 15. I was like, freshman 15? Not knowing that everyone was calling me fat. And then I clocked it and I was like, ooh. Yeah, I need to change things. So that's when I started to understand health and diets and whatever. And I started to think, like I need to starve myself even more. And I gained this freshman 15. So I always like balanced between starving myself and eating and starving myself and eating. And I developed a habit of that. And then I did the dumbest mistake that I could ever do, which is I watched a documentary, and that was during the vegan era and everyone turned vegan. And I watched a documentary about cows and I was like, I'll never eat an animal ever again. But I became vegetarian, which is the dumbest thing that I've ever done, because you know what my diet was? Mac and cheese, grilled cheese sandwich, and chips and fries. Like, that was my diet. And I gained even more weight. And that was the heaviest I've ever been. But also, I was so happy, by the way. I started to feel comfortable within myself. I was like, you know what? I don't care, like, what people think. And I started to wear whatever I want and feel comfortable. And then I went on the scale and I realized, damn, that's the heaviest I've ever been. And then I looked back at old pictures and I was like, oh my God, I was so skinny. What did I do? And then the starving happened again. So I had this cycle where I'm like starving myself, eating. And then رجعت البحرين عقب الجامعة. I was depressed because I had to be an adult. وضعفت. And then I moved to Dubai, and then I realized, oh my God, everyone looks so good here and whatever. And I started to starve myself. And then people's comments changed from, oh, matente, to, oh, you look so good. And that kind of validated that feeling of like, oh, I look good? Oh my God, I should do it even more. And then I started to realize that people would do things where while I'm eating ما بكمل أكلي, or they'd say, oh, ليش ما قاعد تاكلين? And that would validate me, because I'm like, oh my God, they're realizing nah, I don't eat that much. Because when I was a kid, people would say, ليش قاعد تاكلين too much. But in some ways, people's concern became compliments to me. And I started to feed off of that validation. Like, if I'm eating in front of people, I'm not going to finish my meal, because then they're going to give me a compliment on how I'm not eating. And it grew and grew and grew. And then one day, كنت في الشغل, and then they gave me this task to go out with my boss to go like shop for things. Me and my boss are shopping, and then I started to get really dizzy. But I didn't want to make it weird for my boss, so I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom and like try to wash my face. I get to the bathroom and it turns black. I don't remember anything. I open my eyes and I realize I'm on the bathroom floor. أغمى علي. That was the biggest reality check I've ever got, because I'm like, what am I doing? All of this for validation from other people. Like, what? I'm not happy. I'm depressed. I don't feel good. All I feel is that people just see me as like better looking now. I literally got up, and at that time Chindi was my bestest friend, so I called him and I was like, Chindi, and he was like, go, I know this mall, go here, they have food. So I went, I ate in the mall, and I'm just on the phone with him and I'm just crying, and he was like giving me advice. And that moment of being alone in a food court crying on the phone because I'm not eating was the biggest reality check of my life. I was like, I never want to be in this position ever again. And then Chindi picked me up and he dropped me home and he gave me advice, and like I was like, wait. And then the weeks after, he kept on bringing me food. Well, looking back now, it was such an act of love that I didn't realize. During our long best friendship, he took care of me a lot, and I really cherished like these memories that we had where he was there for me a lot. Where was I? How did we get here? Why am I like trauma dumping on you guys? I'm sorry if this, I feel like, yes, this is a funny podcast, but sometimes I really want to talk about these things because I know a lot of young girls watch this. Well, I wish if I was a kid and I was in school and I was getting bullied by the way I eat, or like people were making fun of me, I wish I had someone to look at and be like, oh my God, it's not that deep and it's okay. And our body's meant to be healthy, not for the sake of other people commenting on it. Like, when I was the skinniest, I was unhealthy. When I was the fattest, I was unhealthy. And now I just want to make sure that I'm healthy. Like for my wedding, I don't want to be skinny. I want to be healthy. And I'm trying to change all these wounds that I've had from previous situations that I still think about. Like, why am I still thinking about things that happened when I was 9? I feel like this podcast took a turn. رحت من ما عندي سالفة لما أقدر أسكت. Enough with the depressing talk. Now I want to talk about my hyperfixation of the week. There's this girl on TikTok, اسمها Fidan. She's an Australian mom who makes salads at work. She makes 10-minute videos of her just preparing a salad. And I can't stop watching. It's an addiction. Like, I watch 10 minutes and I don't even speed it up. I just watch the whole thing because I love the way she cuts her veggies. Please, please, please watch her videos and you're going to understand why I'm this obsessed. She is truly my hyperfixation. And like I told you guys last time, please send me your hyperfixations or comment it down below because I want to share what you guys are hyperfixated on. Okay, I'm going to read out some comments. Someone said, well, my hyperfixation of the week is the episode with your mom. I keep rewatching it. Someone said, my hyperfixation today is my 19-year-old sister not knowing Sierra. How does someone not know Sierra? You guys remember when there was a rumor that Sierra was transgender? It was a time. And those were the only 2 hyperfixation things that I got last week. But please send me your hyperfixation stuff, guys. But for now, this concludes the episode. I'm sorry it took a dark turn. And if you want me to be more of a clown and get more guests, let me know who you want me to bring because I have a really fun idea for the next podcast. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Bye.